March 2020, COVID-19 came to the United States. Because of this, schools across the state had to be closed. Initially, this was supposed to be a couple of weeks for schools to be closed. However, a couple of weeks turned into a long year quarantine. And because of this, schools went into long distance learning.
It's safe.
I think reopening school is a good idea, specifically for those who need help with specific subjects and the ones who are more hands-on. It'll give them the chance to get more help and to be hands-on when it comes to the project. And I think it's safe when it comes to doing the proper safety measures and going at the right pace.
But I know that we are trying our best to keep people safe. And I also know that a lot of families and students didn't feel ready to come back until we got to a certain point where we could have school in person safely. And now that we are at that place, I'm excited to see more students and families ready to take that step. That said, I know not every student and family is ready to take that step, and that's perfectly okay too. Everyone's going to be ready at a different point, and what's important is that we support everybody equally and equitably the entire time throughout this process.
COVID-19 can easily be spreaded by coughing or exposure without a mask. Masks have been the solution for this, as well as staying 6 feet apart from each other.
I definitely think it's safer doing it online, especially because when the school started kind of reopening, it was just like in the middle of the semester, so I don't really think it was necessary. I would rather just have it, closed until senior year or whatever, in terms of just like the next year in whatever grade you are. But as I said in the beginning, it's not exactly the same. So
So you feel like it is safe even with the vaccines here? Like, even though there's no cure for the COVID?
I do believe it's safe, and I believe it's safe for the following reasons. One, we have heard from public health officials that schools can have low transmission rates between students, even if they're not vaccinated. We know that high school students themselves are of an age where they're less affected by this virus for whatever reason. Now, that being said, there's still that danger, right, for adults in the building and adults who might be at home, and a student could potentially carry that virus home. Well, I think for teachers in the building and staff in the building, all have had the opportunity to get vaccinated to this point. And for families who feel concerned about a student taking the virus home, they're able to take those precautions. What the opportunity also presents right now is that overall transmission rate throughout the county is as low as some of the lowest it's been since this pandemic started. So even the chance of a student bringing it home to a family member is rare, is low, very low, where it's safe enough for students to be in person. And then lastly, I think that we've also seen that with carrying the transmission, that at school we're taking the precautions. We're wearing masks, we have hand sanitizer, we're making sure we're keeping at a distance. We don't have too many students in one room, which also lowers the risk overall.
And do you think going to it in person will actually help with students' mental health?
I think so, and ultimately though, it's up to us. I say think so, but I also say hope so. Because I know a lot of schools are right now just having students be on computers when they go to school. Like it's a Zoom on at school, and the teacher is teaching to them and students who are online, and that I think is not going to necessarily be helpful for mental health if a student doesn't even feel like they're connecting with anybody when they're in the building. Schools are prioritizing testing, are prioritizing like let's read and write all day so that you catch up where you fell behind. But I don't think students are falling behind. I think they're growing in a lot of different ways. I think the area that I'm most concerned about is mental health, and that's why I think it's important that schools prioritize letting kids talk to each other.
Should we go back? Is it safe? Now with COVID vaccinations underway, schools are reopening. What does the future hold for our schools? This is Austin Marquez. Thank you for listening to our documentary.